Which persistent misconception myth annoys you the most? I have a virus. Therefore, I need antibiotics. Cracking your knuckles will give you arthritis. Because it happens to be cold today, there is no global warming. We will solve all our problems if we just elect the right president. Any hoax that my family finds on Facebook. Recently I was warned to not eat bananas because they were being injected with HIV. That there's a hidden cure for cancer but pharmaceutical companies are not releasing it because they would lose profits. To suggest that there is a sole cure for all types of cancer, be it a solid tumor like breast cancer or a hematologic malignancy like AML, is just so absurd to me. That Scrattinger's cat is about the cat. It's not. It's about how weird quantum superposition is. Also, the cat is not alive or dead, but you don't know which it is until you check. It's alive and dead at the same time. Which is complete nonsense. That's why quantum superposition is weird. That blood is actually blue. That V's become looser after 6. That someone's ignorance is as valid as someone else's knowledge. I really hate the myth that the emergency oxygen masks on airplanes make you high or docile so you don't panic during a crash. That's almost the exact opposite effect. If airlines really wanted their passengers to be docile, they would just let them have hypoxia. Now that will make you calm. Gambler's fallacy. If something hasn't happened for a while, it is more likely to happen the next time it can. Or vice versa. It forgets that events are independent. If I drink and drive 1000 times, it is more likely that I will get caught. However, if I don't the first 1000, the probability of me being caught on the 1001st time is no different than the first. There are 5 Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays this month, and that only happens every 823 years, and the Chinese call it moneybags. Share this Facebook post and you'll be rich. Seriously, it happens. On average, once a year, and most of the time, when people share it, it isn't even true. This stupid thing is so easy to realize it's wrong. I don't know how anyone can believe it. I'm tired of the belief that rubber ducks are just for kids. Throughout history, they have had plenty of other functions and are much more versatile than just a toy for babies. Often when I try to buy a rubber duck at a store by myself, I'll get weird looks, or the cashier will ask if I'm going to a baby shower or something. Nope, I'm going to put it in my ass tonight. I don't eat chemicals. Okay, enjoy your nice tasty diet of photons and vacuum. That humans couldn't have evolved from monkeys because today's monkeys haven't evolved into humans. The idea that ancient people were stupid and backward. We are only where we are now because of their achievements. That an undercover cop has to tell you they're a cop as long as you ask them 3 times. Who the duck comes up with that it? That we only use 10% of our brains. Yes, because millions of years of evolution allowed us to keep a whole lot of space occupied for no possible use or function. Spare me. That hair that is shaved trimmed will grow back thicker and longer. It won't and doesn't. It's an illusion created by everything being neatly cut to the same length, giving it an effect of more volume. That somebody is stupid simply because they don't know something, or more that people mock their stupidity. There was recently a constantly reposted thread, what's the dumbest thing you've ever heard someone say, and it's always chock full of it that people shouldn't be mocking but instead just correct them and be happy you got to teach them something. I just found out Easter is the first Sunday after a full moon on or after the 21st of March. Never knew before last night, but nobody else in the car knew either, so they didn't mock me for not knowing why Easter is when it is. If I asked the same question about Thanksgiving, I'm sure I would have been made fun of. TL. Doctors, stop making fun of people for being misinformed or uninformed and be happy you get to inform them. That being cold causes a cold. That you shock a flatline to bring someone back to life. The Vikings did not have horns on their helmets. Damn it. That glass is a really viscous liquid and that's why older windows are thicker at the bottom. That all gay men want to have sex with all men. If you aren't turning down women left and right, you likely aren't so good looking that we can't control ourselves. That jellyfish are electric. They're not. They sting you with nematocysts which stick in your skin and inject some toxins. That's what stings. You're not getting shocked, you're getting microscopically stabbed. I met like 30 people in prison that said they did time with Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I went to prison in Texas. They would all say different variations of how he was quiet and big. Close bracket. Oh yay, too bad he's a fictional character inspired by two different people. I got in a lot of fights at the beginning. That Irish people are drunks. We are just troubled. As a diabetic, anything with sugar in it will kill me instantly. Duck off and let me eat the Snickers, you idiots. Don't know if they count as myths, but pretty much any weight loss system that isn't essentially eat less, move more. That women only make 78 cents in America to the man's dollar. It's incredibly misleading but widely cited. Edit. It's that a father spending time alone with his child is babysitting. I would get so pissed whenever someone would say that to me. That the Great Wall of China is visible from space. How stupid is that? It's like 30 feet wide. Dumbest myth ever. I even mentioned it in a science class in middle school and the teacher shut me down with, "Have you been to space?" I was so pissed. What a dumb as duck argument. Have you seen an atom, asshole? If humans came from monkeys. A classmate of mine brought us up in a debate in science class, ostensibly under the delusion that he was wielding a weapons-grade argument against evolution. I'm at a YEK school. Teacher didn't even correct him. I think the better question is, if humans came from steel beams, why can't jet fire melt transitional fossils? Apple computers don't get viruses. That anything bad that happens is the president's fault and no one else's. I don't want to work out because if I stop, all of my muscle will turn into fat. Shut the duck up. So, I asked my mum if she got laid by Reddit, but she insists she didn't. So stop saying you ducked my mum. That the concept of karma, not the Reddit kind, is what goes around, comes around. Yeah, that's not what karma is. That OCD is an adjective, or a verb, or just a quirk, and not a potentially debilitating mental disorder that has driven many people to madness or suicide. Being pro-choice means you want to abort every fetus because duck them. You never want to have family. You despise handicapped people and wish they were never born. You hate men, children, pregnant women and all life on earth. Edit. Ought. Also, sleeping with the fan on will kill you. Very popular myth in Asia. That spending a day playing video games is far worse than spending the day watching TV. That stoplights are triggered based on how heavy your car is. No, there isn't a giant scale under the roadway. There's a much simpler loop of wire, called an induction loop, that can detect the presence of metal above it. It's not about how heavy you are, it's about how metal you are. When people think that if they earn too much money they will get put in a higher tax bracket which will cost them more than the extra money they made by working more, or when employees get cash awards at my job that are withheld at 40% and they believe that they are getting screwed by paying extra tax. Deoxygenated blood is blue. It only turns red because it's in the air. That's why your veins are blue. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Deoxygenated blood is a slightly deeper red. That's the only color difference. Veins appear blue because of their tint and diffraction through the skin. Even if veins were blue, doesn't mean their contents are. Have you seen Mountain Dew outside of the bottles? The tomato is a fruit, not a vegetable thing. Oh my god. Yes, a tomato is a fruit. So is a cucumber. So is a bell pepper. Fruit is a biological term. Vegetable is a culinary term. For plant products that we would ordinarily put into savory dishes. Fruit doubles is a culinary term also. Fruit and vegetable aren't mutually exclusive. So if people could just stop stupidly correcting me when I add tomatoes to the list of vegetables I'm putting in my salad, that would be great. That any complex historical event period can be boiled down to a cause and effect, or even that there is a definite answer to why something happened. Example. Many attribute Hitler's rise to power as having largely to do with his rhetoric and skill as an orator when that ignores the previous decades of increasing conservatism, antisemitism, and nationalism. Hell, plenty of educated Germans at the time thought he was a buffoon and a horrible orator, using poorly formed arguments and generally coming off as a low-class imbecile. Consuming sugar makes you hyperactive. That there is no gravity in space, and astronauts don't experience gravity. That three horns don't play with long necks. Get the duck out of here with that it. The you eat 8 spiders a year in your sleep myth. Unfortunately not many people know that was made up, and nobody accepts that some people sleep with their mouth closed. The fallacy of false choice. A popular example in the media at the moment is terrorists are using encrypted communications. We should ban encryption, otherwise the terrorists will win. The frog staying in boiling water if you turn up the heat slowly. They took out its brain before starting the experiment. I'm pretty sure that contributed to it staying in the boiling water. Edit. Grammar. That prior to modern medicine, the average lifespan people died of old age at 35 or 40. Every time some story makes a joke about how this is the Middle Ages, 35 is old age, I get a headache. This factoid comes from the idea of average lifespans in prior centuries being lower, but skips the detail that the average was heavily weighted by much greater infant mortality rates. If you managed to make it to puberty without dying of disease, malnutrition or violence, you had a decent chance of living past 60, regardless of the time period. Edit clarity. I'm bothered by the myth that people older than 30 in ancient times were white-haired old granddads, conflating average lifespan with natural lifespan. That there are hot singles in my area ready to meet me. Bees shouldn't be able to fly, particularly popular with pastors. GMOs being evil and harmful to us. We've been genetically modifying plants since domestication. Eating that dessert before dinner will ruin my appetite. No, Mom, my appetite is infinite. Correction, spelling. That pit bulls can lock their jaws. Nope, they just have exceptionally strong jaw muscles. Substitute with Staffordshire Bull Terrier in UK. So many annoy me. But the most annoying is probably when people tell me carbon dating is inaccurate because creationism, or men have one less rib bone. Oh, and no one actually knows how tax brackets work. The flat earth myth. I saw someone quite recently use the idea that the people of the past believed the earth was flat as an example of how silly and backwards the people of the past were. I see it all the time as an example. It's completely false. It has been essentially universally accepted that the earth was a sphere from ancient Greece onwards. It's essentially nonsense that became popular mainly during the 19th century in order to essentially do what people use it for. Make ourselves look better than the people of the past. It really is quite a bizarre myth that somehow hangs around to this day. That correlation equals causation. That we evolved from the same monkeys that exist today. Ugh. It is not Luke, I am your father. It is no, I am your father. Humans use only 10% of their brain. The ring finger is the only limb with a vein directly to the heart. Sharks can't get cancer. How do people honestly believe any of this? How are we supposed to trust scientists when they say global warming is happening when they can't even get the weather forecast for tomorrow right? Come here. No. Closer. Closer. Strangles the duck out of you. That HIV and AIDS aren't related. The ignorance is unbelievable. Yesterday at my university I heard some girl loudly talking about how she was a nursing major and just found out that some people catch HIV, while others catch AIDS. Usually gay guys catch AIDS. Had to get my jaw sewed back on after that one. All Republicans hate poor people. They are pro-military, pro-life, pro-corporations. All Democrats hate rich people. They are anti-military, pro-choice and pro-the people. The misconception that socialism is the same as communism. The misconception that walking outside in the cold without proper clothes will give you a cold. It's a virus. You can sit in a freezer all day and not ever catch the virus. You might die of hypothermia though, while underdressing might cause your immune system to have a harder time, making you more susceptible to catching the virus. You still have to actually be exposed to it before you get it. The myth that vaccinations give people autism. I mean really, The one doctor that made the sit-up has been proven to have lied about this. Other quacks picked up, and now modern developed countries are seeing the return of previously eradicated and easily preventable with a vaccination diseases. Abstinence-only education. That this username would actually work. GMOs are bad for you, or being vegan is healthy. Horoscopes. Every single person born in the same month as you is not living the same life. That if you're not read your Miranda rights when you are arrested, you get to walk away free. Chemtrails. It's nonsense. Don't read too much into the fact that you can see lines in the sky. The one where a woman had a snake and it stopped eating and laid beside her in bed and the vet said it was sizing her up. Anyone that keeps snakes knows that they don't have the mental capacity to plan it. If they see food and they're hungry, bam, and they're constricting. We have 5 senses, and that's it. No, we have over 15. Crossed arms equals itchiness, anger, apathy. No, it's a common and natural standing position, is all. 1. We evolved directly from apes. No, we share a common ancestor with them. 2. Solar panels cause cancer and will steal sunlight from plants. This is just too silly to even argue about. When someone refers to something inside of something as inception, that is not inception. Yes, I've seen the movie, but by definition, more than the establishment or starting point of an institution or activity, inception is the injection of an idea in context of the movie. I dunno about annoys me the most, but I don't like the misconception some people have that larger labia minora equals loose V and sexually promiscuous woman. But I can't be too annoyed because I do get to have the smug satisfaction of knowing that anyone that says that clearly has never been within 2 feet of a V. Just everything involved with the public perception of OCD. People know, like, 2 examples. Washing your hands over and over and counting steps. That's it. It gets totty point where people just make casual jokes about being so OCD lol even in the workplace. And that it hurts when it's something you struggle with every single day of your life. I hate the idea that a female's hymen will somehow prove her virginity if she's been sexually assaulted, etc. The hymen's condition has very little to do with sexual activity, and more to do with physical activity in general. It could be intact if you've had sex 150 times, or not even if you've never had sex in your life. I think the concept is better understood in the US now than it was in the past, but other countries still have virginity examinations where the hymen of a female will be looked at to prove the status of the sexual activity. It's totally invasive and barbaric. That all opinions are equal and everyone's matters the same. The theory that gum takes 7 years to be digested. So annoying. That as a Canadian all I do is apologize. I'm sorry, but it's just not true. That people think that poor people are lazy and it has nothing to do with socioeconomic status. I live in the US. My family believes Chinese fortune telling will predict earthquakes and that a big one in CA is coming from the 28th to the 30th of January this year. They are hiding in Las Vegas next week. Carbon dioxide is a trace byproduct of burning fossil fuels. It's actually a primary product, and for each ton of coal you burn, you get 2.86 tons of carbon dioxide, because chemistry. Regarding staying at a bed and breakfast, many people believe the myth that all the bathrooms are shared. Shared bathrooms used to be a hallmark of the bed and breakfast experience when old residences had a single bathroom to serve an entire floor of bedrooms, but that's no longer common. Surveys of inns and band Bs show that 99% of inns and band Bs offer all private baths, and for many inns, the bathroom is the new bedroom and filled with amenities like whirlpool tubs, steam or multi-jet showers, fireplaces in the bathroom and more. Knowing how important privacy is, innkeepers have become experts in fitting in private baths to guest rooms. Violent video games porn cause violence, rape. Desensitization to unpleasant stimuli makes you a monster.